Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, July 29th, 2019. The main fire potential impacts for the next couple of days include some mainly wet thunderstorms moving through eastern Idaho and western Wyoming today, with an increase in some gusty winds and some low relative humidities across the southern and central portion of the Great Basin. Those winds will continue to some extent in tomorrow. We'll also see winds pick up in eastern Idaho and begin to see some moisture moving once again back up into the southern Great Basin and then spreading throughout mainly Utah and eastern Idaho on Wednesday. Yesterday we did have a few little thunderstorms move through the area, and some of this was overnight into Nevada and up into Idaho occurring today. Most of those storms were accompanied by some precip, at least over in eastern Idaho and western Wyoming. The storms in Nevada may have been on the drier side. Current fire activity is shown here, with most initial attack efforts being successful on our new fires. The observed precipitation for the last 30 days, here looking at the month of July, not a whole lot of precip moved up into the region. Most of it was concentrated over Utah and up into western Wyoming. Much of southern Nevada, northern Nevada, and western Idaho was very dry during the month of July. We did see below normal temperatures, however, during the month, with some areas in Nevada up to 4 degrees below normal for July. Our ERCs for Utah and Nevada are somewhere between the 50th and 60th percentile, and a little bit higher up in Idaho, especially over the central Idaho mountains, where we're seeing some of the large fire activity on those ongoing incidents. Taking a closer look at some areas, generally ERCs are below normal region-wide for the time of year. But there are some areas where those values are closer to normal, especially over the mountains of central Idaho. The northern sawtooths there are closer to normal for the time of year. Over northern Nevada, we did see some precip move through there late last week, and that brought the values down just a bit. Live fuel moistures are continuing on their downward trend. Those seasonal values are about a month behind where they normally are. So we're still seeing some greenness in our sagebrush plants, and that's helping to slow the growth of some of our grass and sage fires. This morning's satellite imagery shows the center of the high pressure located to the south and east of the geographic area, and a little trough moving through the Pacific Northwest. That's what's helping to kick off some thunderstorms across Idaho today. And we will see temperatures increasing significantly under this high pressure over the next few days. So for today, mainly just looking for some thunderstorms moving through the east central Idaho mountains and over into western Wyoming. These storms will generally be on the wet side. Again, a closer look at where we're expecting those storms. And then we'll also see winds pick up just a bit across much of Nevada, staying below red flag warning criteria, but definitely breezy with low relative humidities. On Tuesday, the high pressure begins to build back into the Great Basin, continuing our hot temperatures region-wide. We will see winds pick up over there in eastern Idaho, and may have some holdovers from the lightning that moves through there today. That may be a concern there. Otherwise, moisture returning to the southern and eastern Great Basin. On Tuesday, we will see that moisture returning, but it will be mainly limited to the higher elevations of southern Utah and the Arizona Strip. Relative humidities will begin to come up there. But relative humidities are very low in Nevada in the single digits, and also western Idaho. And here we'll see those gusty winds over the central Idaho mountains for Tuesday afternoon. By Wednesday, that deeper moisture really makes a pretty quick push northward, and we'll see wet thunderstorms moving into most of the higher elevations of Utah and then over eastern Nevada, and possibly up into southeast Idaho as well by Wednesday. A closer look at where we're expecting those wetter storms are going to occur over the Arizona Strip and southern Utah and up into the higher elevations of northeast Utah as well. Relative humidities will come up pretty quickly in Utah, but they're going to stay fairly low over western Nevada and southwest Idaho. The 3-day precip totals are shown here. Looking for the best chance for precip continuing to be over the Utah mountains and also the Arizona Strip, and then moving into eastern Nevada as well. Then we'll see that precip move up into the higher elevations of Idaho and western Wyoming. On Thursday, some lingering thunderstorms will continue over the central and northern portions of the Great Basin. We'll see some dry air move back into the southern Great Basin. And this pattern will continue on Friday with possibly some isolated storms continuing over Idaho and Wyoming, with decreasing thunderstorm activity further south. More of the same on Saturday. It looks like we may get a little bit more moisture moving back up into the southern Great Basin by Saturday. And drier air continues across the western half of the area. And then by Sunday, perhaps a little more moisture rotates around that ridge back up into the central portions of the Great Basin. The 7-day precipitation totals are shown here, just a little bit higher amounts than the 3-day. The bulk of the deeper moisture is coming in the short term, and then maybe we'll see a return of some monsoonal moisture by next weekend. The extended outlook from Climate Prediction Center for August 5th through the 11th is shown here. Still continuing an above normal signal for precipitation over mainly Utah, and then spreading to some extent into Idaho and Nevada, with above normal temperatures expected over Nevada and western Idaho. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.